Hope all of you are doing absolutely great, my dear children, parents, whoever else is here with us. Welcome to another wonderful session wherein I think I've told you this earlier also, and most of you who must be regular followers of all our sessions would definitely know what's happening through these sessions and what we intend to give you all, or we ourselves also learn also through all these sessions. This is one of those super cool discussions that we will be having with all the toppers that who have done us proud, all our exam, the CBSE, ICSE, class 10 and 12 students who have done us proud. And today, again, I have a very, very special guest who herself is a topper again from CBSE class 10. So she will be joining us in some time. But before that, let's also talk about the current situation that all of us are facing, right? And then I will come back to this. Well, I really hope all of you are staying safe and staying in good health and following all the precautions that we are supposed to be, because without all of that, I think it's very difficult. Whatever, it's not like many times I think the question that can pop up in our minds could be that, okay, what's going to be different if I alone follow all these precautions? But that's not the case. Imagine if all the citizens of India, all the millions of people in India, imagine if all of us had that kind of a mentality, what would be the plight of our country? Definitely that's going to lead us to a very dangerous situation. So come what may, let us ensure that we are responsible citizens ourselves. And talking about responsibility, I think that comes with self-discipline. So let us thank the toppers also. Welcome,
Hello.
Meera. Can you hear me and see me? Hello, Meera. Good afternoon. So here she is, Meera Ranjan. I was talking to you about our special guest for today, Meera, who has scored a 98.8% in her CBSE Class 10 examinations. Wow. First of all, to start off, let me congratulate you, Meera. It's a great achievement. That you must be proud of yourself, and I'm sure your teachers, your friends, your parents, everyone must be very proud and happy about whatever you have achieved. And of course, all your teachers here in Vedantu also, you have done all of us proud. So today, as I was interacting with the others, I was just telling them that through these sessions, what we intend to is that children always keep hearing a lot of inspirational talks and motivational talks from teachers, but then when they hear it from their own seniors or their own age group children who have also managed to be successful, I think it adds a lot of value. It can be a little more relevant to them. So we've been interacting with a few such children, and today you are our guest of honor. So let us get started. Meera, to start off, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, what your parents do, and which school you go to, and things like that?
Okay. So I'm from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. My mom is a homemaker and my father is a software engineer. He's in the US. I study in a school called Shraddha Children's Academy, which is in Kottivakam in Chennai.
Oh.
I live in Besanagar. So yes, I have chosen a computer science group in my 11th standard.
So it's PCM, is it?
Yes, physics, chemistry, maths, computer science.
Okay. So are you like intending to follow your father's footsteps?
Maybe I have interest in programming, definitely.
Okay.
But I'm also looking at biotech fields like that.
Okay. But then you did not want to pick up bio as a subject, is it? Was there any reason for that?
Yeah,
I thought because like out of selfishness, okay, because I'm a bio teacher. So that is why I'm asking you that. Yeah.
I talked to one of my cousins who is pursuing biotech right now, and she told me that they take bio from the basics in college. So it would be like an advantage if I know some computer science, some programming. I'll have an advantage over the other students in biotech at that point. So that's why I do computer science.
Okay. Great to know that. So now let us come to your exam part, because I think most of our audience will be waiting to hear it from you. What do you think? Because this year especially, I think the COVID pandemic, the lockdown, everything started around the time your board exams were happening. Were you one of those children who had to wait for your exams to get done, or were you fortunate enough to finish all your exams before lockdown was declared?
Fortunate enough to finish it off.
Oh, great.
Actually, my exams got over on March 18th. Yes, after that the lockdown was imposed.
Yeah, I think March 23rd or something it started. Okay. Yeah, I think many of our CBSE 10 children have been fortunate that way.
Yeah.
It's more of, I think in other parts of India where CBSE has a lot of other optional subjects commonly followed, I think some of those children were affected. Okay.
Yeah.
So now thinking back about the exams again, as I was telling you, it was a really intense process, I'm sure, like starting from the month of March, April, or May, whenever your classes for 10th standard began, and you have gone through the tough phases of the model exams or the pre-board exams and the actual board exam. What exactly do you feel now? How does it feel to be talking about the entire journey now, your journey?
It feels like the hard work has paid off, definitely. So I'm relieved about that. I think the exams were like really good practice for the final board exam, the pre-boards and everything. Apart from that, I got to just learn a lot, I guess, in 10th standard. It was really nice learning curve. And I mean, planning for 10th standard helped me to like plan stuff for 11th as well. So like now I know, okay, I planned for this exam and it worked out. So now I know, okay, let's plan for 11th as well and for JE. So that was a good thing actually.
Okay. So did you start planning for your 10th standard in your 9th itself, or did you start only like from day one of class 10?
From class 10 only, not from 9.
Okay.
I was planning from class 10. So initially at the beginning of the year, I started with the subjects. One thing important was I started taking notes from the beginning of the year itself.
Nice.
Yeah, from all the classes and everything. I had a book where I had my mind maps and flow charts and stuff. So towards the end, I didn't have to go through the theory part of the textbook again. I could just read my notes and go for the exam. So I think that was very helpful. You have to start doing it from the beginning of the year.
You have a very good points there, because all my students also, they keep asking, ma'am, should we waste time making notes? Should we really waste time making flow charts and things like that? I think Meera has a very good point there. She's talking with respect to her own experience that initially, although probably you had to spend a little bit of extra time, eventually it was worth that effort, right? It was very easy and came in as a handy tool in your last minute preparation. Yeah. So coming to the subject part of this year's exams, how did you find all the papers? Easy, medium, difficult? How would you rate them?
The papers were fine. For me, I think all the papers were fine. Maybe science had some tricky questions, one or two tricky questions. But if you think, I'm sure you would get it. If you're thorough with the concepts, you'll definitely get those questions.
Okay.
It could definitely be done. If you're thorough with the textbook, you can do the exam well. So it was not like hard level, nothing like that.
Okay. So you're saying manageable, nothing like beyond that. Yeah. Okay.
No.
So now I think many of our children will be curious to know what your routine was during the exam time, and also your routine in general before the exam month started.
Okay, so before the exams, we had the pre-boards, and every day in school there used to be revision of the topics. The teachers used to say, study this topic and come. So I used to wake up like 1 or 2 hours before school started. I used to study it and then go to school.
Nice.
Yes, one important thing about the routine before the exams was, whatever homework the teachers give you, try to finish that in school itself, sometime in the school itself, so that you don't need to come home and waste time on the homework.
That is such a wonderful point. Yes, although it may seem like a very small thing that you can do at home, but I think that's a very good point that you said. It can save you a lot of time. Yeah. Then, yeah, go ahead.
You have time for other hobbies. You won't get stressed out. Oh my God, I'm writing so much. That problem won't be there if you finish it right there in class itself.
True.
So that was like a cheat trick that I used.
Okay, that is very nice. So can you
then
also...
in the exam time?
Yeah. Continue.
Oh no, I'm continuing.
No. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the exam time routine was, I used to wake up in the morning, just look through the textbook at any diagram or something that I think that I might miss or I might not remember at that point. Not much, basically, just like a really cool morning, very calm, nothing else. I'll just keep thinking about, some small portion of the textbook that I need to remember. Check all my stuff. That's all. Nothing much in the morning. Even after going to school, I just have a nice conversation with my friends before the exam. That's it. Nothing about studies, because you know it brings in fear if you do that. You suddenly think, oh my God, will I remember this? But you will remember, so it's nothing bad.
Okay.
That was the routine.
That's nice. So what I wanted to ask you in between was, and then I did not want to break your flow. So you were saying finish off all the homework as much as possible in school itself, right? So do you have any like further tips that you can give children? Many children will be like probably wondering how can we do that, because in school already so many things are happening. Is there anything special you want to tell them how to find time for that in school?
Okay, so like the break period is always there. Okay, I know it's meant for break.
The
But
typical
I used to kind of
yeah.
finish it in that time. I was not much of a break time, wandering around person.
Okay. See, so that's Mira's secret. Nice, nice. Okay, good to know that.
I don't know whether it's automatic or not. You should not keep sitting at your place. But then, if you have a lot of work on a particular day, better to finish off the break time. Or if you eat your lunch, I'm sure every child will have some time after eating your lunch. So you could do it in that time as well.
Okay.
You're
saying somewhere in between or before the next teacher comes, before the next period starts, something like that, you can manage to sneak in 1 or 2 minutes, and that will eventually add to a lot of time. I think that's what you're saying. Yeah, very
not
nice.
all will be like full jam packed. Some
Yeah.
teachers will give some 10 minutes free at the end, so you can use that wisely.
Okay, so use it wisely according to each situation and each day is what you're saying basically. Okay, so now another question I wanted to ask you was, what was your weaker subject and what was the strategy that you adopted to tackle it?
I would have to say social science, because I love science more than anything else, but social, it was more like just facts for me. I mean, it was very interesting to understand, the subject. I had interest, but it was the vastness of the subject. There's so many facts to remember. So that was hard. The one thing that helped me the most was my flow charts. Definitely nothing more than that.
So even for social studies, you made it a point to make notes and flow charts.
Especially for social studies.
Especially for that. See, that is Mira's point, because she considers that to be her relatively weaker subject. Mira says she made notes especially for social science. How nice to hear that. So that was your major tool, is it? And did you go on to refer to any extra books or something like that?
So I used to see Vedantu's YouTube videos on social science. So I'll talk to you about that later.
Okay.
Apart from that, is I had my guides. I had this brand called Together With. So I used that guide for social science. That book has good flow charts as well. I made my own, but I also used to refer to that. They have like flow charts for every lesson. So that I used Together With guides. Toward the end of the year, I used Oswald book guides, question banks, not the guides, question banks. So those questions were like, they had some hot questions also. So they prepared me well for that. That's it.
Okay. Next thing I wanted to ask you is, what is the one thing which you did and you feel it turned out to be like a major game changer for you? Probably you have already answered it, but if there is something else you haven't said, I think you have already spoken about note making, which was your major tool. But apart from that, was there anything else which was like a major game changer for you?
Yes. So practicing question papers, I think that was the major game changer, because most of the exams I used to practice a lot of question papers from online Vedantu test and all. You have to try to finish the paper much before the paper ends, or the stipulated time, so that you have time for checking.
Right.
But you should also try to improve your speed with every paper that you write.
Okay.
One important thing is you need to have timings for each section of the paper. Think about how much time it will take you to write and how you can reduce the time with every next paper that you write. So that will really help.
Okay. So, what was your process like when you were trying to self-evaluate your papers? How did you go about it?
Well, I used to Google the answers after I finished the paper. I used to write it in like exam notes and all,
Okay.
the actual exam simulation type. Then I
How
used to like
nice. Yeah.
either if my mom was free, I used to ask her to like correct the answers
Hmm.
for maths or something else because she's a math person. So
Okay.
I used to ask her to that. Otherwise, for SST, I would have to like refer my textbook or biology or science, physics, chemistry. I used to refer the textbook myself, check if I've written all the points required.
Hmm.
The diagram is well labeled. What I can do, I'll circle out whatever I've missed, and note it down somewhere in some notebook. Refer this page in your textbook, so that I can refer it at the end of the year.
Very nice. I think that is a very important tool. I can recall this very well. I also started that habit of practicing previous year's papers in my 10th standard, especially for maths, because maths is a subject where you need that speed. That is very important, right? So for me also, it just took me back to those days, although it was a very, very long time back. One more thing I'm curious about, Meera, is which was the month when you started working out question papers? Right from the start, or somewhere like in September, October, when all the portions were done?
After all the portions were done.
Okay. So
So
before that, probably you were talking about question banks and others. So you were more focused on chapter-specific question practice, is what I understand. Okay, very nice. Now, another thing is, what do you think has been the biggest advantage of online learning for you?
biggest advantage. Okay, yeah, I didn't have to like go anywhere outside. To learn.
Yeah,
That was definite thing because a lot of time is lost in travel. I already have to travel to school and back,
yeah,
so that
yeah.
takes time. I think the best thing is that you can ask your doubts right there. I mean, your doubts will be heard individually.
Hmm.
You need not like wait for your turn.
I think the
Mm,
points that you said just now clears the doubt that many children probably have in their minds, because many parents and children, when they hear about online learning, that is the major concern they have. They are like, there is no direct physical face-to-face interaction. Will the doubts be actually solved? So you're saying it was easier for you through the
yes,
online. Hmm.
there was that doubts Q&A section where you could
Right.
ask anything and the teachers would reply almost immediately. So
Hmm.
that was very helpful. I mean, when the class is going on, suddenly something arises in your mind and then you gotta ask it. That's nice. Apart from that, difficult questions, I used to like put it in the doubt app.
Hmm.
That thing also clear.
Hmm.
Hmm. I think online learning connects you to really good teachers, like you around the country. It's so nice. And also, I mean, Vedanta like taught something extra apart from the school. Beyond the school, they taught something extra in every session
Hmm.
about the topic, so that you have a sometimes even the NCRT textbook it just tells you that one line about
Right.
something, and
Right.
then Vedanta like the teachers actually explain what the background of that line is. So I felt that was very nice to like understand the topic and write any answer that might enhance your answers in the exam. So that was very good.
Very true. I think that has been my opinion about NCRT also. It gives you everything, like only the precise information, but many times in many concepts, it is not sufficient for you to understand what exactly is happening. So just referring NCRT in that sense, in the perspective of understanding, may not do like good enough practice is what you're saying, I think. Yeah. Okay. So now coming to a slightly lighter question, how did you manage your free time? Like any specific hobbies that you had?
Yeah, I still play keyboard,
Okay.
um, and I used to play badminton. In my free time, I used to read books and watch TV for some time. Just relax in my free time. I
Okay.
just used to relax and what else? Mainly TV. I mean, I used to read books. That was how
Okay.
I spent most of my free time. Yeah.
Okay. So, like keyboard classes, I'm a musically inclined person. So, I think I'm very curious to know if you continued your keyboard classes during your exam season, or was there a point where you kept it to a halt and you missed those classes?
Yes, yes. When the exams started coming, I did put it on a hold
Okay.
uh, around October. November, I think. I put it on a halt for that period. And
Okay.
after March, I continued again.
Okay, so for about 4-5 months, you put it on halt. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And another question that children generally ask us, students generally ask us, about toppers. I think students and adults, children and adults both have this opinion about toppers that they always have everything under control. Things never go wrong for them. Do you think this is true? Or was there any events that you can recall where you felt things were going out of hand, that you found things to be impossible? And was there anything like that? And was there anything you did to tackle that situation?
Yes. So in maths exams, like in the pre-boards, I started making some silly mistakes in maths. I missed one question or so, and I lost marks for that. I made some calculation mistake, something like that. I remember. So I was like quite worried about that because it should not happen in the final exam.
Right.
So I mean, the only thing I did was I enhanced my checking process so that I can always put back the answer in the question and verify. I think verification is a very important process for you to not miss any marks on silly mistakes. So that was one challenge that I overcame.
Okay. Nice. So through practice, eventually you overcame that, is what you're saying. So children, whoever is watching this, students, do not worry. Meera has, explained how she went through that process. So nothing to worry at all. In case you have any trouble during pre-boards or before your board exams happen, identify your problems early and find ways of tackling them, is what Meera is telling us all. Okay, now, who is your biggest role model and why so?
My biggest role model would be my mom
Okay.
because she always encourages me to fix my mistakes ahead of time. She always keeps her like calm in difficult situations. She never gets flustered easily. She always helps me reboot my mind after I'm stressed out or after an exam. So that I think she's my role model. She works really hard, so that's something to inspire people. Um, Apart from that, she was the one who helped me with the verification process and how to check the answers and all.
All right. Yes, I think you already explained that. I think that is a tip to parents also who are watching this. How you can possibly, if you're thinking about wondering how you can support your child during exams, I think Meera has already shared a couple of tips from her mother. Yeah.
One more thing, my mom used to take me out for walks. Whenever I was studying for long hours, she used to take me out for
Okay.
walks just in our street. Simply talk about something else other than studies, just to make me free of the stress. So that was very nice. I got to spend time with my mom as well during the exams.
Okay.
I think that helped. She
That
used to
is
give me something
very
to
nice.
eat or drink during long hours or in between the classes or something. So yeah, all these things really kept me at peace.
That is so nice. So I think you have pretty much already given me an answer to another question I wanted to ask you. How did you tackle your parents' expectations? I think you have indirectly told me a little bit of an answer, but I would like to hear that directly from you also. Like both mom and dad, did they have any major expectations, and was there any pressure that added on to your mindset?
No, my mom was always like, do your best. It doesn't matter because as long as you know the concept, it's fine with me. You should know the concept really. If you don't know, that's a problem. But
Yeah.
if you don't get marks or something, that's not the issue as long as you know the concept. She's like, we'll accept whatever you get. That's fine. Do your best. Some days just don't go right according. In the way you want. They don't happen in the day.
Right.
Those days are there, but it's fine. So they were like, they didn't put that much pressure on me at all. So
Okay.
there's not
So
much
both
pressure.
your mom and dad, both of them have not pressurized too much, is what you're saying. Okay. Another tip to the parents who are.
In fact, my father was like, keep some time for 10th standard stuff and learn advanced concepts in the free time that you
Oh,
have.
okay, nice. Actually, yes, in the long run, that does help because at the end of the day, it's not only your marks in the 10th standard board exam that matters. You also need to be prepared about a lot of other things that you possibly might face after that, right? Okay. So, in general, what do you do to keep yourself motivated? There are days when, as a student, as a teenager, you may feel a little down. You're like, today I don't want to do this. Today I don't want to study. In general, is there anything that you specifically do to keep yourself motivated?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely days where I feel like, oh my god, I studied so much already in school.
Saturation point is reached.
So, I mean, one thing that helps me is sleeping. So I would be like, when I'm really tired, I'll just start reading some book and I'll automatically fall asleep. When I wake up, I'll be fresh and awake and I'll feel like, okay, let's do some more. Apart from that, I mean, I used to like look at some advanced thing about the topics that I'm learning so that I'll have the interest. Oh my god, if this concept can be applied there, why shouldn't I learn it already? I mean, it's so interesting. So that renewed the interest, if to learn something beyond what is taught in the textbook. So that was very nice. I used to do that. I used to watch like YouTube videos related to the topic, but at an advanced level. So that was nice.
So for you, I think your stress busters were also like more of things like that were indirectly or directly related to academics, I think, in addition to the hobbies that you had. That is what I understand from this conversation. Anyway, thank you very much, Meera. So I think I've asked you a good majority of questions. So now let us quickly go ahead for a rapid fire round. I have like a set of 10 quick questions. I'm sure you'll be able to answer all of them very quickly because already I think you are very good in interacting, is what I have understood from our conversation also. So ready, right? Let's get started. Yeah.
Ready.
Okay, great. First question: Dad or mom? Who scolds you most?
Mom?
Almost every student is giving me the same answer. Okay. Now, next question: Is there one friend who always had your back?
Definitely. She used to call me for doubts and stuff. We used to spend time together in school. So yeah, it was very nice. Her name is Ankita.
Ankita, okay, your school friend Ankita. Okay, I'm sure she also must be very proud of your achievement. So that brings me to another question. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting the rapid fire. So did you also have Ankita or anybody else as your study companion, like combined study sessions or something like that, or did you prefer to self-study?
No, I prefer to self-study. I felt like I could do a lot more in that time.
Okay.
Self-study would be, for me, I felt it was like a better idea.
Better
and
idea.
More productive.
Okay. Great to know that. Now, next question. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl.
Night owl. Oh, okay. Fine. So, again, that brings me to another question. What is the latest time in the night that you have sat up awake to study?
Oh, don't ask me that question. I think like 4 o'clock or something.
Wow. Okay, so basically there have been sleepless nights also, is it? When you are like lost in it. Nice to know that. See, many children ask me, ma'am, isn't it more productive to study early in the mornings? But see, children, Meera has a point there. And I think I have also been telling this in multiple sessions of mine. That it varies from person to person. You could be a person who grasps things faster early in the morning. You could be a person who prefers late night because everything is silent around you and you prefer that kind of an ambience. So I think Meera says she was a night owl.
There were some of my friends who used to get up at like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock and then study. So I mean, whatever works out for you. They also got really good marks. I also got really good marks. So it's really up to you.
Totally. Yeah, that's a very good point. It's totally up to you. You must know your strengths and weaknesses and decide based on that. Yes. Now, science or English, and why? Which one would you choose? Science or English?
Science.
Science. Okay. Science or maths?
Maths.
Okay. Now, what is your dream job and why?
My dream job. Okay. So I haven't like decided anything on a career yet.
Okay.
So I'm still like open to. I'm looking at different fields. For like last week or something, I was like looking into an astrophysics course, something nice like that. So I mean biotech from last for a few weeks that I've been thinking about it. So it's still like in work in progress.
Okay, work in progress. Nice answer. Okay, now if you got a credit of 1 crore rupees in your bank account tomorrow, what will you do with it?
I definitely help poor people and help to improve the situation. Yeah, that's something I really want to do. I mean, last year did not have any time to like join any organization and do good for the society around me. But this year I have joined some organization near my house, and I have not been able to follow through because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah.
But I am super in for like improving the society. I really feel the need that our environment needs to be more sustainable. So
Great, great thoughts. It's very inspiring to hear. Now comes the next question. Now, imagine you can travel, you have an opportunity to travel through the entire world, okay? But one person can accompany you. Who would that one person be?
my mom.
I guessed it actually. From the conversation we had, I guessed it must be your mom. Okay, nice. The next question, because you're from Chennai also, and because I'm also from South India, would you prefer dosa over pizza or pizza over dosa?
Oh, pizza.
Yeah, pizza over dosa, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Probably
Those
if you.
are something like we all have regularly. So
That is
pizza.
true. That is true. Considering that you live in Tamil Nadu, yes, for you, because you don't get pizza every single day, yes, true. Okay, I
But
understand.
sambar idli or anything.
Okay, nice. Now, who is your favorite teacher at Vedantu?
I like
All teachers
Abhishek.
who regularly talk to you. Yeah. Sorry,
For 10th
sorry,
standard.
what?
For 10th standard.
Yes.
I think Abhishek sir, first he teaches everything in like a humorous way, and you can relate to it. So I think he did a really good job.
Abhishek sir is your favorite teacher at Vedantu. I will convey this to sir also. He will be very happy to hear this. Already he would be hearing this from a lot of his students, I'm sure. But yes, I will convey this also to sir. Okay. Now, if there was one thing that you could change about the education system in India, what could that be and why? This is the last question that I have, by the way, for you.
I personally think everything needs to be more digital. Um, I was actually thinking about in this pandemic, there are so many children who don't have tabs or phones or
Yes.
laptops at home. I was asking my mother, how would they study? It's not possible. So that thing needs to change in the education system. One more thing, I thought about this earlier. Something, not only exams are not should not be the only way of measuring something. Measuring your knowledge. There should be more practical application. It only comes in 11th and 12th, but I wish that it could be brought about in lower classes as well, like practical classes.
Correct.
That would be very nice to understand the concept. Moreover, I think that smart board education thing, it needs to come everywhere.
Right. Very nice to hear that, Meera. And actually, it's so amazing. I think you're the second student I'm interacting with in this series. And it's so nice to talk to all of you at such a young age. All of you have so many insights into so many things. It really shows how much generations have changed and how well educated and aware all of you children are today, compared to what it was in our times when digitalization of everything was just at a starting stage. Anyway, thank you very much, Meera, for taking your time and joining us today. Is there anything more that you want to say, or before we conclude?
Just one thing. You asked me about stress busters, right? So one big stress buster was music for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I love to listen to Hindi songs, English songs. I just used to be in my room like singing whenever I used to take a break, putting the karaoke version of it and just singing. So that was a great stress buster.
Okay. Good to know that. And all of you children out there, I think I have also said this as one of the major stress busters, because for me, through my entire life, music has been one of the major stress busters. Even now, in between classes or whenever there is time, singing is one thing I really, really enjoy, and listening to others' music also. So thanks a lot, Meera. So I think we have heard a lot about you. I have also learned a lot from your tips. And children, I am sure you will have a lot of things to take away from what Meera said. ahead. So once again, Meera, keep it up. Hearty congratulations. And we are all proud of your achievement. May you reach great heights. God bless you and all the best in everything that you aim to do in life in future. Studies, academically, non-academically, everything. God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, Meera. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All the best to everyone who's watching this.
So,
Thank you, ma'am.
bye,
Bye.
Meera.